So let's take a look at what we're addressing today. Come on, there we go. So time and task management, of course. We have 4 core objectives we're going to address today, and these include: we'll describe the benefits of developing time management skills, differentiate between different types of tasks. Okay, there we go. So, pardon me. So we're focusing on 4 core objectives today. We'll describe the benefits of developing time management skills. We'll also differentiate between different types of tasks. Then we'll analyze and use tools that help us organize our tasks. And I'll practice for everyone's benefit today some proven rules and techniques that help us manage time effectively. Okay, so we start with an understanding of what we call our time management skills hierarchy. So let's start at the bottom where it says no system. When we were kids, when we were starting to grow up, we probably functioned without any organized system for managing our time. We'd just say, hey, it's okay, I'll remember, meet you at the schoolyard, or, meet you after class or something. We were lucky if we actually remembered that. Maybe we made it a priority and it worked. At the same time, though, during our youth, and as we were maybe going through high school and college, we started to develop what we would call an ad hoc system. So at some point, we might have used Post-it notes. In fact, I don't mind telling you, I still use them, but I'll explain later how I use those. We might have tied a string around our finger. We might have written notes on the napkin. And frankly, some of us well into our 20s might be at lunch or dinner and write some notes on the napkin. Been a while since I've done that, but we do this, and so at some point during our young lives, we have utilized what we might call an ad hoc system. Then many of us, usually some of us still in college, and a number of us starting to work and in our 20s, would use what we would consider an appointment book. Now, I can remember, and I don't mind dating myself, I'm 57, and I can remember when I worked at Prudential Insurance and Sprint and Baybank in the 80s and 90s, I used not a little black book, but I actually used an 8.5 by 11 black leather binder. Well, I'm pleased to tell you that I still have that. However, it's structured a little bit differently, so let me explain. I used to use that. This was before computers were widely available for use with Outlook. So pre-Outlook, many of us actually had a manual appointment book, and we would write, all our schedule, our meetings, our appointments, our calls, everything in those. And so what I will start to tell you is I currently use a black leather binder, but I use it differently. I have, just to my right here on my desk, I have a collection of loose leaf pages and some pens, and I carry this black leather binder with me everywhere because this is the beginning of my to-do and activities list. In short, everything I write down in my system, by the end of the day, I have transferred onto my computer, onto my electronic system. And we'll talk about that in a little more detail as we dive in further. At the same time, many of us started with and are probably currently using some form of desktop calendar. And for many of us, that calendar might be Outlook. We can talk about that and explore how our PCs, our iMacs, our tablets, our laptops, and for many of us, our smartphones are all sort of linked together. So in short, most of us at some point, probably in our 20s, in our early working life, started with some form of appointment book. And this brings us to today. I'd like to suggest that each and every one of us, whatever system we are using, whatever tools we are using today have some sort of efficiency-driven system for managing our time. So we're using our organizers, PDAs, smartphones, Outlook, any and all of the above. And I will say this, my system consists of 3 devices. One is my office PC, one is my laptop, and one is my smartphone. And those 3 devices are linked together. It's sort of my mini local area network for syncing up information, for keeping me on schedule, on time, etc. So one of our sub-goals of today's webinar is for each and every one of us to take our current system with the current tools we're using, our efficiency-driven system, and giving all of those tools more purpose, more focus, some might say even a mission focus. In other words, taking your current system, your efficiency-driven system, and making it more of an effectiveness-driven system, where you are planning, where you are prioritizing, and you are being purposeful about decisions you're making and about making conscious choices. We're just about to talk about conscious choices and how conscious choices play an integral role in helping us manage our time both efficiently and effectively. So we have, today's webinar is in 4 sections or modules. And the first section or module we call Changes and Choices. And we're borrowing here just a little bit from the philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche, and I apologize on his behalf. He used a male pronoun. He once wrote, "He who knows why can get through anyhow." And we just say today, knowing why, knowing the reason or reasons why we are doing something, knowing our purpose, knowing our goal in working on something makes it much easier for us to get through all the minutiae, all the details, whether it be on a project, whether it be managing our schedule, whether it be breaking down a series of tasks into daily tasks, whatever it might be. Knowing why we are doing what we are doing helps us get through a lot of the detail and really any how. And it's partially about linking up purpose with process. So let's start to develop some understandings about choices. I mentioned the term conscious choice a moment ago, but before we talk about conscious choice, let's think for a minute, how do we make most of our choices? Do we make our choices, most of our choices based on impulse, based on conscious choice, based on pressure from others, based on habit, or based on default? Well. We're going to get a little bit of help here from Psychology Today. Now, I can still remember, I already told everyone how old I am, I can still remember being in a psychology class, oh my gosh, it was around 1975, and our professor told us that Psychology Today was already informing people then that we made 91% of our choices based on habit. So I guess we've modified that a little bit. Maybe we've developed a bit more additional understanding of the some of the ways we make choices. So Psychology Today, they conduct this survey every single year. And this is the most recent result from 2017. In their survey, they surveyed over 3,000 people, and the responses, and by the way, these responses have been very consistent over the years. There's been very little variation. So we make about 2% of our choices based on pressure from others, another 2% of our choices based on impulse. We also make 2% of our choices based on default. We make approximately 9% of our choices by conscious choice, and then about 85% of our choices are made by habit. Now, some may be questioning this, and I get that. So let me try to help enhance our understanding. How can we be making 85% of our choices by habit? Well, let me use one example. The mode of transportation we use, as well as the route that we use to get to work. We probably tried maybe several different modes of transportation. We certainly tried several different routes to get to work, and through trial and error, or maybe in some of our cases, consistent use of a GPS. I use Waze. Some people love Google Maps, and I'm sure there are others out there. But in short, we tried a number of different modes of transportation as well as different routes to get to work. And we finally, at some point, settled on our preferred mode of transportation and our preferred route to work. And so each of those two choices, at some point, we made a conscious choice. We decided, okay, this is the mode of transportation I'm going to use, and this is the preferred route I'm going to use to get to work. So at some point, both of those were conscious choices. However, every single working day since we made those conscious choices, we have made the choice every day based on habit. So if you just think about it, it doesn't take too long for 85% of our choices to be made by habit. If about 9% of our choices are conscious choices, what's that, a multiple of like 9 or, it's a little over 9, maybe about 9.5. So one day we make a conscious choice, 2 weeks later, we're making that choice those remaining 10 days by habit. It doesn't take too long for us to make that.
Thank you so much for taking a few minutes to watch this clip from one of our online meetings. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel, stay up to date, and stay compliant. This video is brought to you by GRCTS. We are also known as GRC Training Solutions. And here's a quick information about us and what we do. We conduct many compliance and non-compliance training courses throughout the year, covering some of the most important areas within several industries. Our focus is to provide the best and the most up-to-date classes to our audience. All training modules are designed and facilitated by industry subject matter experts who possess years and years of experience and understand compliance very well. Our customers attend our online classes from all over the world. If you're not available to attend live meeting classes, you can always opt in to get unlimited access to our on-demand or recorded classes. We also provide in-person and face-to-face workshops, on-site workshops where our experts will visit your company at your location and train you and your colleagues, LMS trainings, and finally corporate subscription plans where you pay a little amount to enjoy unlimited access to our courses. We have monthly, quarterly, and annual subscription plans. Here's our contact information for you. If you're interested in learning in any of these topics, or if you know a colleague or a friend who might benefit from our classes, please contact us or visit our website for more information. It's www.grcts.com. You can always send us an email, support@grcts.com, or just give us a call, 248-233-2049.